Can I eat it?
You can eat it.
It's pretty good.
Will you put your shoes on later?
Maybe.
What is up, fam? Welcome to another episode of Rockin' with Ricky, the show about connecting with your partner physically through food. Tonight we're gonna be making a creamy lemon shrimp pasta. And again, guys, this one is dead simple and actually takes very little time to prepare. Thank you so much, everybody, for actually subscribing to this show. I get so pumped every time I get a new subscriber. In fact, to commemorate all these new subscribers, I actually went out and got a custom embroidered Rockin' with Ricky apron. Let's get started. The first thing we're gonna need to do is start prepping. Since we're gonna be making pasta tonight, let's go ahead and get water boiling. While the water's getting boiling, let's go ahead and get about a cup of fresh Parmesan grated up. You know, there's gotta be a better way to do this. If somebody knows like a more convenient way to grate hard Parmesan cheese, please let me know in the comments. Or if some hard cheese processing equipment company wants to sponsor me and send me some kind of fancy device for doing this easily, I'm all for it. That looks like about a cup. You can never have too much cheese. We're also gonna need to mince up some garlic, 6 cloves. Remember, like I said before, if you whack them on the side like that, they peel really easily. Makes it a lot faster. You know, I was thinking about it the other day, and one thing that a lot of you might not know about me is I used to really dislike feet. Like, borderline phobic. And it didn't matter how attractive the girl was or how good her hygiene was, it just really wasn't into it. And, you know, if somebody would touch me with their feet, I would recoil in horror until I met my wife. And for whatever reason, and I'm not even saying her feet are anything special, not that there's anything wrong with them, but I wouldn't say they're like extra great or anything. I just wasn't afraid of her feet. And she would touch me with her feet and it just wouldn't bother me. And then over time, we'd find ourselves in positions where I'd have her feet up, you know? And I started putting my fingers through her toes like the way you would grab someone's hand like this. You know, once you do that, the intrusive thoughts start to take over and suddenly it was like, oh, I want to put that in my mouth. And I think that's really what love is, right? When you really love somebody, you don't mind putting all their parts in your mouth. And I think that was one of the reasons I knew she was the one, because I didn't mind putting her feet in my mouth. Anyway, that's neither here nor there. I did later on grow to have a much finer appreciation for women's shoes. I wouldn't say it's a fetish, right? But something about, you know, when a woman keeps her shoes on in bed, it's just like a little more exciting. I know I'm not the only one that feels this way. There's a whole market for this kind of thing. I wonder if that's called something. Not a foot fetish, but like a shoe thing, or maybe it is a foot fetish. I don't know. Write in the comments if you have an answer to that. Or maybe you feel the same way. Okay, we got that garlic chopped up. We're gonna be using a lemon again. Let's go ahead and slice that up and set it to the side. We're gonna need a little bit of parsley. When you're cutting parsley, try not to get so much stem. Just want the leafy part, if at all possible. Parsley does have a taste, but we're also just kind of using this for a little pop of color. You know how I feel about plating. Chop up that parsley. Okay, we've got the prep mostly taken care of. Now, while we're waiting for the water to finish boiling, let's go ahead and get some color in these shrimp. Now we're gonna be using frozen shrimp for this dish. And before the internet crucifies me for using frozen shrimp, I would like to point out that this channel is for people who might not be so experienced in the kitchen and you're looking for easily attainable meals that have a high probability of success without too much effort so that you can get the meal cooked and then move on to the seduction. So don't be mean. Go ahead and salt and pepper the shrimp, but they're also gonna get cooked in the sauce, so no need to over season. And again, We're just trying to get some color into these shrimp. While we're waiting for the water to finish boiling, I want to bring back the user comment section. Eleanor from Poughkeepsie wrote in and said, while I cook for my husband all the time, I've been inspired by your show, and I like the idea of preparing a meal for your partner to spice up your love life. Since I already cook the majority of the meals, what are some ways that I could add some spice into the process and thereby create more excitement in my husband? Actually, this is a perfect example of what I was talking about earlier. Eleanor, I will highly suggest you wear heels while you cook dinner. You don't even have to do anything special with your outfit. If you just wear your normal clothes, but you put some heels on and your husband sees you cooking in the kitchen, he's already gonna know what time it is. This is not a cultural thing. This is a universal sign as a species that we are pre-programmed to be excited by a woman wearing heels. It may have started in ancient times, I'm not 100% sure, but I guarantee that if you wear heels while you're cooking dinner, you are going to get tossed around like a rag doll that night and possibly licked in places that you are unfamiliar with. Okay, the water's boiling. Let's go ahead and add our noodles. These have about a 12-minute cook time. I prefer to use fettuccine for this particular dish, but any long noodle will be fine. Side note, if you've been breaking your pasta in half to get it all to fit in the pan, you've been doing it wrong your whole life. What we want to do is drop it in, fan it out, and the bottom half of the pasta will soften very quickly, and then you can slide the rest of the thing in. You want those long, skinny, sexy, slender noodles. See, they just fall right in. Okay, now let's make that sauce. Okay, we're gonna do 3 tablespoons of butter, some lemon zest, squeeze both lemon halves, half a cup of a dry white wine. We're gonna be using a Chardonnay. Ooh, better to cook with than to drink. We'll do a 1/4 teaspoon of Italian seasoning. And we'll do a cup of heavy cream. First you add the cream, then you make her scream. Creamy. Whisk that up a little bit. We're gonna do 2 teaspoons of white flour. Get it nice and smooth. We don't want any lumps. And then we're gonna go ahead and add the cheese. Let that thicken up for about 5 minutes. Get it nice and thick. Thick like my wife. Okay, let's go ahead and add the shrimp to the sauce. Before we drain off the pasta, let's add a tablespoon of the pasta water to the sauce. Now we can add the garlic. Add a little salt and pepper. It's better to clean as you go because as soon as this meal is over, it is red light time. Literally, we have red lights. Put the pasta back in the pan. Take the sauce. Dinner is served. Remember that parsley we cut earlier? Look at that. That's a good time right there.
Can I eat it?
You can eat it.
Your napkin.
How is it?
It's pretty good.
Will you put your shoes on later?
Maybe.
And that's another episode of Rockin' with Ricky. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you next week.